We're live. All
Hey.
right. Good evening, everyone. How exciting to see all of these cities and states across the United States. This is so exciting. Welcome to Ending Abortion in a Post-Roe America. We're going to hang out for a few minutes, right, Nate? Hang out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so great to see you guys joining. I see you guys already knew to take a cue and put your city and state in the chat. So go ahead and keep on doing that. I see Alabama, Florida, California, New Jersey, Texas, Washington State, Utah, Kentucky, Michigan. It just keeps on growing. So go ahead if you'd like to, stick where you're calling in from tonight in the chat.
That's great.
Great to have you guys.
So, how is the weather in Florida, Nate? I bet we have you beat in temperature.
Maybe it was. So we were just before this. We were playing outside with the boys in the water, and it was 93 with a real feel of 102. So I mean, it was still pretty steamy for being this late in the day.
Okay. Well, at 7:30 Central, we are currently at 99. It feels like 103. Missy, is it temperate where you are? You're in Kentucky, right?
Yeah, it is hot. It is very hot. We've been upwards in the high 90s.
I guess it doesn't matter where we are in the country. No. I think we're all burning up right now.
Yeah. We're 82. It's come down to, it's 8:30 and it's 82.
Oh, so. Okay. That's walking weather just about.
That is.
So, yeah. I know, because I miss walking outside these days. I've actually been having to find indoor places and to go walk around. So,
but it's awesome. You and my poor child. She just wants to go for walks all the time, and I'm like, it is too hot.
Her and my poor puppy dogs. So they're aching to get out and go walking. Does anybody have us beat? Anybody hotter than 99 degrees? Put it in the chat. We'd love to. High 70s. So. Oh, Western Washington. It's so lovely. We're just going to move the whole webcast there tonight, or 75 in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Sorry, guys. You can keep the 70s and 80s. I don't want them. I'm good with
my 90s.
You don't
want them? That's
no, because it means that you get the negatives in the winter.
That's right.
That's true. It's a trade-off, isn't it?
No snow. I'm anti-snow.
I hate winter, so I am very happy.
Good. Well, I'm really happy for all you wonderful people who are in the 70s tonight. So go for a walk for me at the very least, right? Yeah. So I'd send you my puppy dogs if I could, but so they're just going to have to hang out inside. It's great. Look at this.
Yeah, Nate was giving tips to a sidewalk group earlier about like drenching yourself in water and sitting under golf umbrellas.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to make it work.
They were saying it's so hot in the middle of the day. They're just, struggling with the middle of the day. I said, well, get a big golf umbrella, take one of those, neck wraps and soak it in water and stick it around your neck.
Whatever you have to do to stay cool, right?
Make it work, right?
Yeah, no, I saw someone on the sidewalk the other day. He had a gallon of water and poured it over his head, but that's what we have to do in Texas. So stay out on the sidewalk and persevere, right? Great. Oh, man. Look at all these people in the 70s tonight. Of course, they're out in the West or in the mountain region. So
I just saw a comment from Angela at the very top. Angela, I grew up in Buffalo, New York myself. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. She's now down in sunny Florida with you, right? That's right.
Yeah, it's amazing how much you love a place, but then you leave for Florida.
Yeah, no, I mean, I am definitely in the place I was made for. I was made to live in Florida.
That or Texas. That's what all Texans say, right? We want to absorb everybody not everybody in Texas. We don't want to absorb everybody in Texas, but so it's a great place to live. It's a really great place to live, but all Texans think that, right? So
yes, they do.
That's right.
Nobody's
they sure do. All Texans think Texas is the best.
That's
so
fair. Nobody's beat the 99 yet. Everybody is a lot lower than that. So if anybody's beating 99 degrees tonight, let us know. So I'm curious to see. That's great. Good to see you, Debbie. I'm glad you made it on the webcast. I know you were wondering if you were going to be able to get in. So glad to have you. That's great. Got a message from you today.
Yeah.
Love all of it.
Hey, Barbara, it's great to see you or at least read your comment. Of course, I remember meeting you. It's great to have you with us tonight.
So I'm in Dallas. I guess our neighbor to the west is technically hotter. That's interesting. So Fort Worth has Dallas beat right now.
Wow.
That's fair, I guess. Dallas, Fort Worth. Okay. 91 in Montana. That's interesting.
That's surprising.
Yeah, that is surprising. I wouldn't have guessed that. So,
Well, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the weather. So feel free to put your city, state, and the temperature where you are tonight. And we're going to get started here in just a moment.
yeah, I think we're about ready to go. We promise this is not a webcast about the weather. We're going to be talking some exciting pro-life stuff, right? So we're just hanging out for a few more seconds here. But yeah, Nate, whenever you're ready to get rolling, I think we're ready to get started.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds
I'm going to
great.
exit, let you guys go.
See you in a bit, Missy.
See you in a bit. Great. Are you ready, Lauren?
Let's go for it. We're ready. Thanks, everyone, for joining us tonight. This is so exciting. Here we go.
Well, more officially, good evening and welcome to Ending Abortion in a Post-Roe America, sponsored by Sidewalk Advocates for Life. First, let me just say, happy Post-Roe America. Can you believe it? Thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join with us tonight and asking some important questions about the next steps in America for abortion center outreach, the pregnancy help movement, and the cause for life. As we begin this evening, know that we join with you in a spirit of partnership and collaboration, celebrating the fact that Roe versus Wade and Casey versus Planned Parenthood have been overturned by the Supreme Court of the United States, and that we now have a chance to make a post-Roe America an abortion-free America. We know your time is precious, so rest assured, our goal is to give you a virtual update tonight in 1 hour or less. I'm Nate Robertson, Vice President for Sidewalk Advocates for Life, and it's my great joy to be your MC for our short but very important time together this evening. More specifically, here are the 3 things that we're going to cover tonight. Number 1, how to shift abortion center outreach in a post-Roe America, especially in states where abortion is illegal or restricted. Where do people go? Are sidewalk advocates even necessary in pro-life states? Well, here's a preview. They're more important than ever, so stay tuned for more of that in just a second. Number 2, how to overcome misinformation in this new legal landscape, especially when it comes to ectopic pregnancies, miscarriage, and other red herrings. And number 3, and how you can help ensure that no sidewalk, no woman remains unreached with the message of options, resources, hope, and help, so that thousands more preborn children can be saved before it's too late. To answer these incredibly important questions tonight, we have with us Missy Martinez-Stone, CEO of Reprotection, Dr. Donna Harrison, CEO of American Association of Pro-Life OB-GYNs, Lauren Musica, President and CEO of Sidewalk Advocates for Life, the largest sidewalk outreach in America. And I'm also honored to join the ladies tonight for a thorough discussion of next steps at this historical moment in our nation's history. So don't forget, at the end of this event, we'll be sharing a huge announcement that will unveil a plan in the battle for life that will no doubt help save more lives and end abortion in more communities, so you don't want to miss it. Give us this hour and we'll give you these vital updates, these next steps. And from that, we're believing that God will speak to your heart about the role you're called to play in making a post-Roe America an abortion-free America. Isn't that amazing to even be able to say? With all that in mind, let's kick it off with a word of prayer. Would you join me? Dear Lord, we thank you so much for the opportunity that we have to join tonight, literally across America, in this virtual platform to talk about a post-Roe America and the journey towards an abortion-free America, and how each of us have a part to play in what you've called us to do. Tonight, God, I just ask that you would touch our hearts, that you would open our hearts, that we would be able to spend some time together talking about what's next. How do we continue to serve women in crisis? How do we continue to be your hands and feet everywhere we go, on sidewalks of abortion facilities and beyond? Help us as we continue to walk with you. May you use us in the unique ways that you've called us to. God, we thank you for the incredible work you've done. and we continue to believe for more in the days ahead. We'll continue to give you all the glory, all the praise, and the honor. It's in your name that we pray. Amen. And now let's go ahead and get started. Hey, Lauren, how's it going? Hey, Lauren, I think you're muted. I can't hear you.
Cool. There we go.
There you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm doing great, Nate. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Doing great.
Great. All right. Well, I am just so excited about this event tonight. We have got so much great stuff to cover, and I'm just going to dive right in. And I just want to go ahead and echo you, Nate, and thank everyone for joining us this evening. I mean, can we just say it again that Roe v. Wade and Casey v. Planned Parenthood have been overturned and thrown into the ash heap of history where they belong. We are now a post-Roe America. It has taken nearly 50 years for the High Court to realize that Roe, the 1973 landmark case that imposed abortion on demand on all 50 states, was a failed experiment from the beginning. We have ultrasound technology that tells us that preborn children have a heartbeat very soon after conception. They feel pain in the womb. And babies as early as 21 weeks in the womb can survive outside of the womb. And that point of viability is ever changing thanks to technology. We now have a multitude of women and men who have experienced abortion and have been harmed spiritually, emotionally, and sometimes even physically. Now we've got hundreds of former abortion workers testifying to the truth of what takes place behind the closed doors of America's abortion empire, Planned Parenthood, and the industry. And then we've had all of you on the line tonight, all of you that are going to be watching this recording in the coming days, the pro-life pregnancy help community who have prayed, fasted, advocated, educated, and reached out to a wounded culture. And I really want you all to hear me say this tonight. Do not think for a second that this happened because we happened by some circumstance to get to the right number of Supreme Court justices on the bench. Yes, we praise God for what President Trump did when he was in office. God used him, there's no doubt. But what I want you to know is that the courts are a microcosm of the culture. Law follows culture, and culture is the hearts of the people. These things happen because there's already a movement of the people that allows that next step to take place. So as you have stood up and shown up, we have seen the stronghold of abortion begin to crumble. And now it is broken. In Sidewalk Advocates for Life alone these past 8 years, as all of you have either gone to the sidewalk, joined us in prayer for an end to abortion, given of your precious treasure, here is what God has done through you. We have now seen to this point 17,860 babies saved and mothers well served and counting each and every day. That's just in our ministry alone, nearly 18,000 babies saved and mothers served through the hands and feet of Sidewalk Advocates. 84 abortion workers who have left the business with the help and witness of a Sidewalk Advocate and gotten connected to Abby Johnson's abortion worker ministry, and then there were none. And then we just celebrated abortion facility closure number 29 in Charlotte, North Carolina. Absolutely unbelievable. Again, we saw the stronghold of abortion break over this country on June 24th, 2022, a date that we will never forget. I mean, so many of us can probably remember exactly where we were when we heard that Roe and Casey were overturned. And now we're ready for the next phase of ending abortion community by community. So I hope maybe you've taken a moment, just having a moment with God in prayer to reflect on this monumental turning point in history, to give glory, praise, and thanks to God for what he has done through your yes. You know, Nate and I found ourselves, along with some of our team members, actually on day one of the Pro-Life Women's Conference, the morning that Roe was overturned, when Dobbs was handed down. And I mean, what an epic celebration that was. As the MC of the event, I got to announce from the stage when this state or that state was abortion free. I mean, it was truly some of the most profound moments of my life. I watched as women who had experienced abortion before, as they heard the news or they were rejoicing with us, you could see the healing in their very being. abortion workers celebrating, former workers celebrating that the stronghold had broken. It was healing for them. I mean, our friend, former Planned Parenthood director Abby Johnson, who started the And Then There Were None abortion worker ministry, even called it their Emancipation Day, because this evil that they had been a part of really it had come to an end as far as abortion on demand goes, right? And so again, we just saw such profound moments celebrating with the pro-life community at the Pro-Life Women's Conference a couple weeks ago. But we gave everybody a word of caution from the stage, and it's the same word of caution that I'm going to give to you tonight. We know that just because Roe and Casey are gone, it doesn't mean that abortion is. The issue, of course, as we know, has returned to the states, right? So each state can decide abortion law within its borders for itself. And we know that we are called to then take our inherently logical case to the people of every state. In other words, we still have work to do, and we're here for it, aren't we? We're here for what those next steps are. Even more so, let's just say it unequivocally tonight as a community. We are still here for every woman facing an unexpected pregnancy in a post-Roe America. And if some of you happen to be on the line with us tonight, some of you who may be even with the abortion industry, we just want to let you know that we care about you. If you are facing an unexpected pregnancy, we care about you and the life that you carry, and we're here to help you. We're here to love and serve you both. Now, with this new landscape, there's two big questions that people are asking. Number one, in a post-Roe America, what does abortion center outreach, sidewalk outreach look like, especially in states where abortion is illegal or restricted? That's a big question, and we're going to answer that unequivocally tonight. Number two, how does America ultimately become abortion-free in law and culture? Now, some of you may be thinking, well, Lauren, that's the $1 million question. If you can answer that tonight, we're all set, right? But I'm just going to give you a couple of ways to kind of look ahead and take those next steps towards how this could become reality. Okay, so let me go ahead and dive right in and answer the first question. What happens to outreach when you're at an abortion facility in a post-Roe America in pro-life states or where abortion is greatly restricted? So I'm going to go ahead and do a share screen here. Let me make sure the technology works and cooperates. Here we go. Okay. And then Nate, give me a thumbs up. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So here is a map of post-Roe America. Now, there's no doubt that some of these states are in flux. I mean, I can look right now at Indiana, Michigan. Stuff is still moving in Georgia, right? This is just kind of a gut check. I mean, it's an informative gut check, right, on where we think these states are going to land. And what you'll notice is that there are states, I mean, we know this from the trigger bans that have gone into effect. Those in the dark blue are either in the process of becoming or already are abortion free. Thanks be to God. Here in the great state of Texas, we are abortion free. Our neighbors to the east, we are abortion free in Louisiana, right? And so anyways, we're seeing one by one, these trigger bans go into effect. Then we've got states that are in the lighter blues that, may be greatly restricting abortion, or the law is right now getting into place, so to speak. We've got some other states that are really kind of, figuring out where they're going to land. We really need to pray over our friends in Michigan and Georgia and Florida. And I mean, I could go over a whole number of states where things are in flux. Indiana's another one, right? Ohio, the 6-week heartbeat bill just went into effect. I mean, so we're watching this landscape change before our very eyes. And of course, in the yellow, we see a lot of states where abortion is business as usual, so to speak, right? So as we're looking at this map, let me go ahead and share with you, again, the answer to that first question. What happens to abortion center outreach in a post-Roe America? So in pro-abortion states, and largely these yellow states, it's business as usual. We have abortion facilities, right? There is a lot of these states where it is abortion until the point of birth. I know that one state, for example, that's really heavy on my heart is Illinois. They can go until the point of birth when it comes to abortion, and they're surrounded largely by pro-life states, which means it is now becoming an abortion destination or an abortion tourist state. Now, yes, we know that a lot of people keep the laws, their moral compass. A lot of women will simply choose life because it's illegal in their state. But where a population chooses to cross state lines, Illinois is going to be one of those abortion destination states. California and New York have already pledged to be, one of those states. Florida is going to become one of those states if they don't start restricting abortion in a greater way. Georgia right now, while their law is in flux, are taking all of the women from the Gulf states, right? So we're kind of watching this happen. But so in a lot of states, it is business as usual right now. Now, in pro-life states, and again, the darker the blue, the more the protection on this map, okay? We are watching something called abortion referral centers. A lot of you don't know that this even exists in the abortion industry. These facilities have actually been around for a long time. These are facilities that don't do abortions within their walls, but they, of course, refer for them. Women go to these Planned Parenthood outpost clinics, so to speak. Sometimes they're designated as Planned Parenthood family planning centers. And yes, you still see birth control clients, well woman clients, very lower level healthcare served at these facilities. But a lot of women go there to figure out what they want to do about their pregnancy. And of course, we know that they're not going to get the most well-rounded response. 96% of all pregnant women who darken the doors of a Planned Parenthood facility get an abortion. Let me say that again, by their own statistics. 96% of all pregnant women who walk through the doors of a Planned Parenthood facility get an abortion. And of course, my question is, agenda much, right? So what we're doing is in these pro-life states where abortion is illegal or greatly restricted, we've actually empowered our sidewalk advocates to go to their next nearest abortion referral facility, or they're watching for their abortion facility to transition to one of these facilities. Some of our advocates are near the border. If you are in El Paso, Texas, the best place for you to go is probably Santa Teresa, New Mexico. And a shout out to our friend Mark Cavalier at Southwest Coalition for Life, also part of our community, for the great work that he's doing at the border. He is very busy serving the women of Texas and New Mexico, right? And then there will be some rare circumstances where there isn't an abortion or abortion referral center, and then people are taking the message of life. Referrals to life-affirming resources, options, news of our pregnancy resource centers that outnumber abortion facilities more than 4 to 1. They're taking that to the proverbial town square. Many of them are partnering with the mobile units that are with our pregnancy resource centers and going across the street from the university campus, doing free pregnancy tests and sonograms and getting these resources in women's hands. So, now I'm going to go ahead and take this down here. Let me make sure I can do this well. Okay, great. We're back. Let me go ahead and share with you a story of how we are already seeing abortion referral facilities go into really join the abortion business, so to speak, in a post-Roe America, really push the abortion business in abortion restricted states. So I'm going to take you to Houston, Texas. Couple days after Texas became abortion free, the trigger ban went into effect. Our leader in Houston, Lisa, was on the ground at the largest abortion facility in the Western Hemisphere. It's a Planned Parenthood facility in the middle of Houston, Texas. And 2 women were going in and trying to figure out what to do about an unexpected pregnancy. The first woman came out and she informed our leader that she had been given a $300 gas gift card to go across state lines. They didn't do an ultrasound on her. They really didn't serve her. And so Lisa said, well, we have our mobile ultrasound unit here with our partner, Houston Coalition for Life. We'd love for you to avail yourself of all of our free services, free pregnancy test, free sonogram, free options counseling. We are there for you. So this woman decided that before she would go across state lines, she would go ahead and try out these services. So she goes on the bus and she shared with us openly that she actually, they actually figured out that she was about to miscarry. Unfortunately, there was a circumstance where the baby didn't develop. It was a case of a blighted ovum. And so this woman was getting ready to go through a miscarriage. And what was unbelievable to me is that it took, the pro-life, the pregnancy help community to really serve this woman, to give her these free services for her to figure this out. Planned Parenthood did not serve her. They gave her a gas gift card and said, go across state lines to figure this out. I mean, it was absolutely unbelievable. The second woman had gone into Planned Parenthood, also received a $300 gas gift card to go across state lines. Again, Lisa offered her all of the free services in partnership with our friends at Houston Coalition for Life. And this young woman got on the bus and she saw a sonogram of her baby and she chose life. She chose life before she went across state lines. And so again, these are just such great examples of how we can still be there for women in a post-Roe America, in these abortion restricted states, at these abortion referral facilities. We are still needed and we are probably more important than ever. So again, I want to encourage you all to stay attentive to state law, stay attentive to what's going on at your local facilities. They may transition to abortion referral facilities like this Planned Parenthood abortion facility, right? And, look up where women are going, and we need to be there for them in a post-Roe America. We're also going to stay attentive to abortion destination or abortion tourist states like Illinois, Florida, right now, Georgia, while it's in flux, right? We're also staying attentive to dangerous mail order abortion causing drugs. We all need to have on hand the resource of abortion pill reversal. You can just go to abortionpillreversal.com. This is where if a woman has taken the first pill of the 2-pill chemical abortion procedure, then we have hope to reverse the effects of the first pill, which blocks progesterone. So we get on a progesterone regimen. It's just progesterone, right? We give women a lot of times progesterone in pregnancy to help them to sustain their pregnancy. And so this regimen is something that's provided by our friends at Heartbeat International, one of the largest pregnancy center systems in the world. Okay, so that was question number 1, and I'll very quickly answer question number 2. How does America become abortion free? In other words, both illegal and unthinkable. So let me just kind of give you the brass tacks. It becomes illegal, meaning in law, right? Like it becomes restricted in law and there's kind of 3 main ways that we could see that. We could elect people to Congress who would pass a law. This is why it's so important for us to vote pro-life, especially with the midterms around the corner. The states, 2/3 of the states could ratify a human life amendment. So as we take our very logical case to the states at some point could vote to pass a human life amendment to add that to the Constitution. Or we could encourage our courts to recognize personhood under the 14th Amendment. And again, law and culture affect one another. So as there is a movement in the people, the courts tend to respond, right? So, and then, the other thing is that as we continue to meet women in a compassionate way, as we go to these abortion facilities and we serve in our pregnancy resource centers, as we build systems for life in our communities, we're really changing sometimes the misunderstanding of what pro-life is. There's a trickle-down effect that reaches law. So again, as we continue to take our case to the people, then we have hope to change the law. But one of the things that I want to encourage us to do, and we're going to bring in comments from Dr. Donna Harrison of Apolog tonight, we need to first dispel the misinformation. How many of us have been on social media and we are hearing people complain and say, well, now, women can't get ethical treatment for ectopic pregnancy, or they can't do an emergency early delivery if mom's blood pressure is skyrocketing, or we won't be able to serve women when they've had the unfortunate circumstance of going through a miscarriage, right? And so again, we need to dispel this information to be at the ready to do it. The training that people receive in our training for the sidewalk really equips them and helps them to do that. So, Nate, I know that we weren't able to have Dr. Harrison with us in person tonight. So I want to go ahead and share her video at this time and allow her to speak to some of this misinformation that's out there. So I'm going to have us mute our mics, those of us that are presenting, and we're going to have Dr. Donna share.
Hello, I'm Dr. Donna Harrison. I'm the CEO of the American Association of Pro-Life Obstetricians and Gynecologists. I wish I could be on the video recording with you, but I am in DC right now trying to advocate for the unborn. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the question of when do you have to separate a mother and her baby in order to save the mother's life? Despite what you're hearing in the media, it is a very different thing to separate the mother and the baby in order to save the mother's life as compared with an elective abortion. So for example, you're hearing things like ectopic pregnancy is the same as abortion. It's not. It's a completely different procedure. In an ectopic pregnancy, the pregnancy is located in the woman's tubes, not in her womb. And so as that pregnancy grows, the mother's tubes can rupture. And this is one of the situations where continuing the pregnancy is a real and immediate threat to the mother's life. So we do have to separate the mother and the baby under those circumstances. And if we could save the baby, we would. But right now there isn't enough technology to be able to implant that baby to save it in any other way. So that baby will die as a result of the separation. But if we don't separate them, they both will die because the baby can't come to the point of living outside the mom's womb if it's planted in her tube. So that's one circumstance where we do have to separate the mom and baby. There are a few other circumstances, not many, but if the mom's bag of water would break early, before the baby can live outside the womb, and the mom starts to get an infection, so it's not just the bag of water breaking, because sometimes if the bag of water breaks, you put the mom at bed rest, sometimes the leaking will stop. So it's not like if the bag of water breaks early that you immediately have to deliver that baby, but you have to watch that mom like a hawk, because if she starts to get infected, then you must separate the mom and the baby, because that infection under those circumstances can move very, very quickly in a matter of hours and kill the mom. So under those circumstances, when the mom's starting to get infected, you have to separate the mom and the baby, no matter what gestational age that baby is. If that baby is over 22 weeks, then you separate the mom and the baby under circumstances where both the mom and the baby can get optimum care and give that baby a chance to live. That's what we do all the time in obstetrics. That's what we're trained to do. And then pro-life physicians do that all the time. If the mom and the baby, if the baby is too young to live outside the mom's womb, but the mom's starting to get infected, we have no choice. We have to separate the mom and the baby. We know that that will result in the baby dying, but if we don't separate them, they both will die. So we want to save at least one. And under those circumstances, we try to separate the mom and the baby so that the mom has an intact baby to hold and to grieve. Because this baby is not just a baby. This baby is a son, a daughter, a brother, a sister, a grandson, a granddaughter. And all of those relationships, all of those people are in relationship to that baby, and they all need a chance to grieve that baby's passing. So we try to separate the mom and the baby in a way that dignifies the baby's life and allows for grieving. This is very, very different than an induced abortion. In an induced abortion, the purpose of the separation is to kill the baby, to make sure the baby does not survive that separation. And how can I say that? Well, think about what's a failed abortion. A failed abortion is when the baby lives after the abortion has been performed. So the separation didn't fail to occur. What failed to occur is the baby failed to die. So it's very, very clear that the purpose, the intent of an elective abortion is to produce a dead baby. The intent of separating the mom and the baby under circumstances where they have to be separated for the mom to live, the intent of that is to save at least one life and to save two if we can. But we do the life-saving procedures under situations where the baby is born in a dignified way. And that is the difference. And so anytime you hear this myth that somehow elective abortion is necessary to save a woman's life, it's ridiculous. You can say that that's absolutely not true. The purpose of an elective abortion is to produce a dead baby. It's not done to save anyone's life. So I wanted to share that with you as kind of a foretaste of what we'll be talking about at the conference. And thank you very much for allowing me to be with you.
Lauren, you're going to have to turn your audio back on.
And we're back. Okay, we good? Great.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Harrison. She wasn't able to be with us live tonight, but was able to give us those beautiful remarks that's just dispelling so much ridiculous misinformation that's out there. I mean, really, as she explained in the most simple of terms, there's a difference between life-saving procedures that treat both as patients with the hope to save both, right? So, that's different from an abortion, whereas the intent is to take the life of a child. The procedures are completely different and have different purposes, right? Now, you may have also seen misinformation about treatments for miscarriage being equivalent to abortion. This is completely untrue. A miscarriage is the spontaneous loss of a preborn child. That's not anybody's fault. A procedure, a D&C, is sometimes performed to remove the child that has already passed from the mother. By contrast, an elective abortion involves purposefully killing the baby before removing him or her from the mother. So again, these are very different. So we just got to kind of be on our game, whether it be on social media, talking to our friends. You know, my husband went out last night for a drink with a friend, and he got hit with these questions, these very same questions: ectopic pregnancy, what about miscarriage, right? And he was able to intelligently speak to that. And the gentlemen who were at the table with them said, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so we really have an opportunity to be sidewalk advocates in the culture right now, as far as this misinformation goes. The other thing too, and I think this is so important, this is the last thought here before, we get to really the incredible expertise of Missy Martinez Stone, who's with us tonight and can talk about enforcement in a post-Roe America. But, why are people doing this? That's the question. Why are people trying to throw up all of these red herrings and saying this is going to happen and scaring people? And, definitely there's an intent to try to affect state law, make no mistake. But we also need to realize that a lot of people are hurting. A lot of the culture is wounded from a past abortion or multiple abortions, and they haven't brought that to the Lord for healing. And this is why we're seeing a lot of angry tirades, even vandalism of our pro-life offices and pregnancy help centers, while we're seeing some of the ugliness play out on social media and in the culture. This doesn't make it okay, of course, but it does help us to understand how, we might proceed. And the way that we help heal people is to first proceed with compassion and love. Yes, we call out any of the logical inconsistencies, but we also try to see the person behind that and minister to them as we can. We hold them accountable for bad behavior, absolutely, right? But some of us are already crossing paths with friends and family members who are starting to bring up, maybe after an angry tirade, that they have experienced abortion. And it's really an opportunity for us to hand out information about support after abortion, some of these incredible post-abortion healing programs, and really be a remedy to a culture who is in need. So as we continue in post-Roe America, let me just encourage everyone tonight. We're not done, right? We're called to show up. If you already go to an abortion facility to pray and to reach out to mothers in need, please don't stop. Find your nearest abortion or abortion referral facility, or at least find ways to hand out this information in your community. We here at Sidewalk Advocates for Life are happy to journey with you if you need some help in knowing how to do that. But by the end of the hour tonight, you're going to know a special way that we can all join together. Again, we have a big announcement coming at the very end of this hour, how you can help save lives and end abortion, still community by community, to help America go from being a post-Roe America to an abortion-free America. So stay with us until the end of our time together tonight. We have an exciting plan to share with you. So back to you, Nate.
Thank you, Lauren. Really incredible, information. And, I think, we should just emphasize again that our work's not done, right? There's so much work to do. We celebrate this incredible victory that we are just, on the other side of, but there's so much work to do. And thank you to Dr. Harrison again for her great information to help us to really be reminded of the differences of these different medical procedures that sometimes are necessary, but that women and babies should always be cared for in the most loving way, right? To save them both and to treat them both well. So now that we've addressed this important shift in sidewalk outreach, we're going to turn to the next part of our evening, and that is how sidewalk advocates fulfill another important role in a post-Roe America. As the boots on the ground at the abortion facility, besides sending business away to life-affirming pregnancy centers, they sometimes come across information that could help shut the facility down right away. We're going to turn the conversation to the key partnership that's making that happen. I'd like to invite into the conversation tonight Missy Martinez Stone of Reprotection. Missy, how are you doing this evening?
Hey, Nate, it is so good to be here with you and with all of you sidewalk advocates.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. First off, I just wanted everyone to get to know you, right? Who is Reprotection, and what unique service do you offer to the pro-life movement?
Yeah. So Reprotection is a national pro-life organization that helps pro-life advocates shut down the abortion facilities in their community. The name Reprotection actually describes our mission. We protect women from the reproductive harm of the abortion industry. We as a pro-life movement are not at all surprised when we learn of the kinds of atrocities going on at the abortion facilities. We know that the abortion industry is dangerous for women and their children. And you are already probably thinking of the horrible stories right now of what clients have said and what women have said that you've talked to outside of the facilities about their experience. But really, how is the abortion industry getting away with that? How do they get away with offering such terrible, quote unquote, care? You know, in the past couple decades, states have been passing unprecedented amounts of pro-life legislation to force the abortion facilities to meet the same standards as other medical or surgical centers. It's common sense legislation like parental notification or informed consent, building codes, physician credentials. And now with the reversal of Roe versus Wade, you know, some states have banned abortion altogether. However, just because a measure is passed doesn't mean that it's going to be followed. And enforcement comes down to the local level. Depending on who is sitting in the seat at your local health department, if they don't agree with that regulation, they're either going to interpret it as loosely as possible in favor of the abortion business, or they're going to ignore it altogether. And the absence of that accountability creates a hotbed for seedy abortion facilities to take advantage of women who are scared and vulnerable. And a lot of times these women end up talking to you. And so what our team does is we come alongside you, we take the case and we find out exactly what laws were broken, who is responsible, and what is the most strategic and effective way forward to shut down the dangerous abortion business. And just one important distinction, this is targeted enforcement and accountability, not media exposure. So we take the information that you guys see in here, we research it and we get it into the hands of the appropriate authorities, and we work with them to hold the abortion businesses accountable and ultimately shut them down.
Yeah, that's great, Missy. Thanks so much. So you kind of already were explaining a little bit about this, but how does having sidewalk advocates at an abortion facility give Reprotection like that vital information about how they can be breaking the law? And what types of information have you received from our sidewalk advocates that at times have been a game changer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you as the sidewalk advocates are on the front lines. You hear or you observe the behavior happening at the abortion businesses in your area. You know who's practicing, you know what days are there. You talk to the women as they're coming out of the facility. You hear the stories. You have clients or you're talking to people who are upset and angry and confused and hurt by what they experienced at the abortion facility. So Reprotection offers you a safe and confidential place to bring that information to ensure that it's acted upon appropriately, especially with the client's well-being in mind. But you are really the front lines. You are seeing and hearing what's happening. And our first official closure was in Florida, and it was because a sidewalk advocate called us, referred to us from Lauren and the team, because they actually had a woman run out of the facility screaming, "Call 911," because she was afraid for her life. I mean, it could be that blatant, where the sidewalk advocates have been the ones that have called, the authorities have called 911 for these patients. And we took that story, we took it to the proper appropriate authorities and had this facility shut down. And so it's anything that you see or you hear that you hear of from clients that just feels off, feels wrong, but it's not medical malpractice. That is a really important distinction. A lot of times women think that their only recourse when they have a bad experience is a lawsuit, and that to meet that standard is so difficult. But if you bring us the information, it's anything that you see or hear about the patient's experience that sounds weird. It's kind of a gut feeling. Like we have news stories now of physicians putting 10 women in a room and giving them all the abortion pill at the same time. Physicians refusing to do follow-up to make sure there's not any complications, or when there were complications, refusing to see the patients, sending them to the hospital without any information, a lack of the appropriate protocol for how to treat emergencies. I mean, it's anything that feels off probably is. You can bring us that information and we'll do the work of identifying what violations occurred and how to move forward with it.
Wow. That's great, Missy. So one more question. How do you see this partnership being especially vital in these early days in a post-Roe America?
Wow. Post-Roe, I kept trying to tell people, as soon as the leak came out and we were beginning to prepare for good news, I said, reprotection is going to be busier than ever because we already have a problem with pro-life laws, abortion regulations being enforced on a state level. And the publicity of this case, how political it is, you're going to have people that come, rise up in states refusing to enforce these laws. And so we have to do our due diligence in every state where abortion is now illegal. We are scrutinizing those laws. We are seeing how it's being enforced at the most ground level. Who is responsible for oversight? How do we know it's being enforced properly? And then in states like Florida, they have more restrictions now. They have a 15-week ban. Okay, now we have to make sure that is being enforced properly. And even in states where it's full abortion access, they are going to be as busier than ever, and they think they're above every law. They break laws like HIPAA. They're not concerned with patient privacy, and so we can get them on zoning, on other medical regulations that don't apply just to abortion. And so we have to keep our eyes and ears open in every situation, in every scenario, whether abortion is illegal in your state, whether you have moderate restrictions or you have full access. We want to see how these abortion facilities are practicing, what laws they are breaking, and we can still hold them accountable. If you want more information, you can go to reprotection.org. If you have something to report, info@reprotection.org. I think somebody put it in the chat for us. Thank you. But we're here. We're really here to be a resource. Like I said, it's safe. It's confidential. We will not share the information of your client without their consent. We want to take care of these women and minister alongside you.
That's great. Thanks so much, Missy. It's amazing just how much you all at Reprotection receive about abortion facilities breaking the law or not providing even just like women's sanitary conditions. And again, it makes sense. If they don't respect life, it's hard for them to respect much else, including the law. We're really so lucky that our sidewalk advocates have a trusted ally, a trusted place to report this info to. So, Missy, thank you so much again for the incredible work that you and your team are doing to protect women, children, and families from this really, truly dangerous industry. Lauren, anything that you wanted to add to this important discussion?
Well, I'm just so grateful to you, Missy, and Christine, your team at Reprotection. Sidewalk advocates are naturally consumed with this mother who they want to help, that they're serving with resources and options. And then in between reaching out to clients, they see these weird things happen. Again, big surprise that abortion facilities quite often are breaking the law, right? And so now we have a place to take that information. And again, I think you highlighted this example, Missy, that the latest victory is that one of our abortion facilities in the Southeast, where sidewalk advocates have been for years, they brought some information to Reprotection. There was other information that Reprotection had researched as well. Missy did some really hard work on that. That abortion facility is temporarily shut down because of this partnership. So this is working. This is happening. They need to be held accountable to the law. And so we're so grateful that we have you as a resource, Missy, in the pro-life movement, the pregnancy help movement, and, for our sidewalk advocates, so they can do their mission well. So thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. We love you. We love sidewalk advocates, and, are just excited to help.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Missy.
So good. Yeah, really just incredible work. We're so grateful to have reprotection alongside with us.
Yeah.
All right. Lauren, I think we're ready for our next segment.
Yeah, I think it's time for the big announcement. What do you think, Nate?
Yeah, sounds good. Well, folks, you heard it from us, tonight, and from everyone here tonight, that our work really is not over, right? We must continue to work together on both fronts, right, of law and culture, to hold abortion facilities and even our state governments accountable to the law, to serve women in crisis, to save preborn children, and ultimately to make abortion illegal and unthinkable. Our goal is to ensure that no woman in America enters an abortion facility or an abortion referral facility without knowing that real help and real hope at that moment is available for her. Because too many women are walking into these places without anyone there. If we build a peaceful, loving, well-trained outreach team in front of every uncovered abortion facility, we can serve every mother in her great need and help save countless more preborn children, and of course, continue shutting down abortion facilities. So Lauren, in that spirit, why don't you lead us into what our big announcement is tonight?
Yeah, well, this is so exciting. And once again, a huge thanks to Missy and Dr. Harrison for their incredible insights tonight. Nate, for joining our conversation as well. As said earlier, in pro-life states, sidewalk advocates will still serve as the gateway to pregnancy help centers and other life-affirming resources to reach women before they are tempted to cross state lines. It's already happening. We've already been able to prevent women from going across state lines because they were better served by us than the abortion industry. And in many states, abortion is still legal. So it's still business as usual, right? We need to continue showing up at these abortion facilities. One of the biggest ways that we are going to succeed in this battle is to continue to grow teams of peaceful, loving, well-trained sidewalk advocates in front of both abortion and abortion referral facilities. So in that spirit tonight, we are launching a brand new campaign. This is called Every Sidewalk, Every Soul, to ensure that every abortion crossroads, every abortion-minded soul is reached by God's people. And it includes two big goals. Number one, just like in a pre-Post-Roe America, we are still actively working to cover all uncovered abortion facilities as soon as possible. Again, with peaceful, loving, effective, well-trained sidewalk advocates. Now with a special focus on what's called abortion tourist or abortion destination state. So for example, like we brought up tonight, we are keeping a close eye on Illinois and Florida, some of these states that are surrounded, almost islands, surrounded by pro-life states. Women who see fit to go across state lines, these are the states that they are going to. And so we need to be fortified with teams of God's people who are ready to meet them with resources, help, and hope. And then number two, we're working to cover now all abortion referral facilities before women are tempted to cross state lines. Now, the only thing that's holding us back from covering the remainder of the abortion facilities in the U.S. and then the abortion referral centers having a presence in each community, simply, just to be honest, is funding. It's not cheap to train, equip, and support a team of sidewalk advocates all year long at an abortion or abortion referral facility, but you better believe that it's worth it. Annually, it costs us about $2,000 per facility to deliver our quality training, tools, and support program to a community. So here's the big news. We've never had this in our history before. This is so exciting. Here's how you can help immediately. A generous group of ministry partners has come together to challenge all of us to move this work forward, to take our next steps from a post-Roe America to an abortion-free America. and they're offering us a $250,000 triple match opportunity through early August. August 3rd is the deadline. So everything you give starting tonight and just over the next few weeks will be instantly tripled. So it will be matched so that we can start new teams of sidewalk advocates. And then it's also going to be matched by Pro-Life Partners Foundation. We are now one of 4 beneficiaries of their 4-year matching endowment fund, which will help fortify our mission for years to come. That opportunity will ensure that once we set up teams, we can sustain them over the long haul until abortion ends in their community, until they see an abortion facility or abortion referral facility shut down in their community. So here's what you can do to participate in this and see your gift triple matched. You can click offers and then make a gift. So here on your screen, you should be able to click that button that says offers and then make a gift. That will open a separate window if you're on a desktop or laptop computer. Now, if you're on a mobile device and you do that, it may redirect you to a new window, but don't worry. You can quickly make your gift and hit the back button, and then you'll rejoin us on the webcast at that point. Anybody who gives tonight, I will protect your confidential information. I only get so much information anyway from that, but I'd love to say your first name, city, and state just to thank you as you make your gift this evening. So we're definitely going to hang out here for a few minutes as we pray over all of this every sidewalk, every soul plan. And again, we'll keep your personal information confidential, but we do want to give you a shout out, just first name, city, and state, or maybe we'll do first name and state. How about we do first name and state? But again, the Lord really put this on my heart tonight that, what is a sacrifice for you? I know that I've let my friends know who are really struggling with this whole idea of a post-Roe America. Maybe they're not completely pro-life yet, right? I'm believing that they'll get there. Again, this is an inherently logical case, right? But maybe they're struggling a little bit. And what I've let them know is that I'm proud as a pro-lifer to show up for women in a post-Roe America, that we will still go to the sidewalk, that we will still put our precious treasure on the line, believing that we can still reach women before they find themselves in a moment of desperation and choose to cross state lines. There is someone tonight that might be able to make a sacrificial gift of as much as $50,000. That's 25 abortion facilities that we can cover with a gift that size. Someone else tonight can make a gift of $25,000. That will cover nearly 13 sites, 13 new outreach teams. And every new outreach team that we start, we see on average at least 20 lives saved, a whole kindergarten class of children saved every time we start a new location, just to start, just for that first year, right? And maybe many, many more. For some of you, a sacrifice might be giving that $2,000 to start a brand new team at an abortion facility. For others of you, it's $100 a month, $25 a month. If you make a monthly gift, we'll annualize that, and then that will be tripled, right? Whatever you can do, know we're so grateful. No gift is too large. No gift is too small. It will all be instantly tripled. And my pledge to you is that we're going to stretch every penny to help save as many lives, impact as many eternal souls as possible. We're ensuring that every sidewalk, every soul will be reached by you in partnership with your yes tonight. Again, we know that so many of you can't get to the sidewalk because of your particular vocation or station in life. I had a friend that came to me the other day. He made a $5,000 gift and he said, Lauren, I can't get to the sidewalk because I'm providing for a family. I'm up really early in the morning. I go to bed really late at night to provide for my family. This is my way of getting to the sidewalk. And that never left me. Like, that just came straight from his heart. Some of you will be able to help these new teams get started through really what is the power of love on the sidewalk and beyond. The morning that Roe and Casey were overturned, the morning that the Dobbs decision was handed down, as we shared earlier in this broadcast, we were just hours away from kicking off the Pro-Life Women's Conference. I had the great blessing of emceeing that weekend. And I still remember I'm sitting on my hotel bed, and I'm watching the announcement come through that, Dobbs had just been handed down. Alito wrote the opinion, and then the lines, were out. Roe and Casey have been overturned. And I just began to sob. I called my communications department. I'm sobbing on the phone with, our communications specialist, Becky, and just really taking a moment, this historical moment, right? I mean, it's mind blowing to remember just, that very ordinary moment of sitting on the bed in sweats and watching this announcement come down, right? And so I turned to our team member, our executive assistant, Kelsey, who was sharing a room with me that weekend. And I said, let's throw on something and go downstairs and let's see the women who are prepping for the Pro-Life Women's Conference. And I mean, it's like the party had already begun. We got down there. I think within an hour, I had hugged my friend, former Planned Parenthood director, Abby Johnson, right? And she thanked me for our work at Sidewalk Advocates for Life. Of course, I profusely thanked her for her testimony and everything that she's done. You know, we just went throughout the room hugging people. And then I came across a former worker that, you know, I had gotten to know on the sidewalk when she still worked in the industry. Nate, you and I had been on that very sidewalk in Tampa, Florida. And so Noemi just came up and embraced me. She was crying. She was so thrilled that this decision had come down in the way that it had. And, you know, as she's hugging me, she said something to me that I will never forget. She said, Lauren, I just want to thank you for all of the times that I was ugly to you on the sidewalk, that I hurled insults at you, that, you know, I you know, tried to get you off the sidewalk. You know, she just went through this litany of things that she had done to us sidewalk advocates when we had stood outside of her facility. And then she said, the very last thing she said was, thank you for not giving up on me, right? We had continued to reach out to her to let her know about Abby Johnson's abortion worker ministry and trying to get her out of the abortion industry, knowing what was at stake. So she said, thank you for not giving up on me. And my first thought and the first words that came out of my mouth were, you were worth it. That's what I said to her. I said, you were worth it. All of that time out on the sidewalk, all of the blood, sweat, and tears that had gone into the ministry at that point, if nothing else, it was worth it so that this eternal soul could get connected to this incredible sister organization that we partner with, and then there were none, to bring workers out of really the darkness and into the light of Christ. And of course, now she's on the other side of that, experienced so much healing, and she's now sharing her testimony across the country. And that thought echoed in my mind in the days that followed. You were worth it. You know, and I kept asking myself, is this worth it? You know, all this hard work, and, you know, the week after Roe and Casey were overturned, we were so busy, you know, and I kept telling myself, it's worth it. It's worth it. Look at the lives that are being changed and the hearts that are being transformed, the lives that are being saved, the communities that are being transformed, right? I mean, and I guess that's my question to you tonight is it worth it? You know, is it worth the sacrifice? Is it worth your time on the sidewalk? Again, we know so many of you can't get to the sidewalk, but you're joining with us in prayer and in partnership, financial partnership tonight to move this work along. I just think of Noemi and 83 other workers who have left, the 18,000 babies who have been spared, the now 29 facility closures. God has done so much through all of you, and I just can't say thank you enough. You know, it's amazing to think that if we have seen indeed 18,000 babies saved in just 8 years on the sidewalk, I mean, that's like 900 kindergarten classes, Nate. Can we imagine the impact if we keep this work going and growing? So again, we have a bonus matching fund tonight, a triple match up to $250,000, the largest opportunity in our history. We have just a few weeks to make this valiant goal. So if you believe it's worth it, if you have a heart to partner with us, once again, you can go to offers, click on the button that says make a gift, and it will take you to our secure online giving site where you can make a life-saving gift of support. So Nate, I know that was a lot, and I know we need to pray, and I want to thank some people here in just a moment for their gifts. But I wanted to see if you want to share any thoughts, and if you would be willing to just kind of lead us in a moment of prayer tonight as we continue to discern our next steps together.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it is such an incredible moment we're sitting in, aren't we? The opportunity to really be able to impact more hearts and lives than ever before, right? And what an incredible opportunity with this very unique match opportunity to be able to have folks join us across the nation, right? And triple their gift instantly. Really just such an incredible moment to be alive, to be in America, and to be able to see women continue to choose life in their local community, right? I think that that's what's so amazing about what we do at Sidewalk Advocates for Life is that we are taking right to the front lines, right? Right to the local communities and seeing abortion end in these local communities. You know, we used to say that every time that a woman chose life in front of an abortion facility, in that moment, Roe ended for her. And now we have to figure out a new way to say that, right? Because Roe is no longer the law of the land. But it's still the reality, right? That every time that we are there and we are able to support, train, and equip people to be available in their local community, they are able to be in that moment of decision with those women as they are making decisions that will literally alter their life and the lives of their children. So what an incredible opportunity, again, for us to be here tonight, to have this match opportunity, and to continue to see these lives changed and transformed through, you know, just the power of loving, peaceful, prayerful outreach in our local communities. So, you know, I know that there's so many now, even right now, that are discerning, you know, what their part to play in this is, right? So if we can, why don't we just take a moment and just, you know, just pray as people are discerning. And I know, Lauren, you want to thank some people after we do that. So let's pray. Dear Lord, we thank you so much for the opportunity again to join together. We thank you for what you're doing across the pro-life movement. We thank you for all the incredible organizations that are being your hands and feet to continue to provide women and men and children with the resources that they need when they're faced with a crisis or unintended, unexpected pregnancy. God, tonight we thank you for those who've joined us on this line. We thank you for those who are considering right now a sacrificial gift that they would give to Sidewalk Advocates for Life to help us to continue our mission, and the ability for them to have that gift tripled through this very unique match opportunity. God, I pray that you would speak to each of our hearts about how we should be a part of this great moment in propelling the work of Sidewalk Advocates for Life forward. God, continue to lead us, continue to help us to be your hands and feet, continue to help us to hear you as you speak to us about our unique role that each of us play. God, we thank you for what you have done, for what you are doing, and what you will continue to do as we continue to not just see America as a post-Roe America, but as we see America more and more as a post-abortion America, right? An abortion-free America. God, continue to bless us tonight. God, continue to bless each one who gives tonight. God, and continue to shower them with your blessings of abundance as they are willing to sacrificially give to the work that you are doing. We thank you. We'll give you all the honor, the glory, and the praise. It's in your name we pray. Amen. Can't hear you, Lauren.
Boy, I'm really good at that tonight. Am I back? Great. Okay. I do really quickly want to, you know, just at the very least do first name and state. I just want to recognize all of you that are helping to move this work forward. Again, we got to go cover, let's go get them. We got to go cover these abortion referral facilities now. We want to continue to cover the abortion facilities, again, about $2,000 per site per year. And so again, some of you can make a $2,000 gift tonight to start a new location. Some of you can start giving monthly. We'll be able to annualize that. We'll multiply that times 12, and then that will go into the triple match. It'll get tripled, right? So let me go ahead and recognize people who have given tonight sacrificially. We're just so grateful. So Lynn in California, thank you, Lynn. That is a really, that's a blessing. Thank you very much for your sacrificial gift. Annette in South Carolina, thank you, Annette. That will be a great blessing to the ministry. I want to thank Lisa in Nebraska. I know who Lisa is. She's also one of our leaders. Lisa, thank you so much for being on the sidewalk and giving. A huge, huge blessing. I want to thank Angela in Florida, also one of our sponsors of some of our locations. A huge shout out to you, Angela. Thanks for giving tonight. That's a huge blessing. I want to thank William in Colorado. This is so great. This is all over the country. So awesome. Thank you, William. That's a blessing. Shout out to James in South Dakota, which should be abortion free. Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I stood in front of that facility. That was a really interesting spot. So glad you're abortion free, James. Thanks so much for continuing the work forward. A huge thanks to Jerome in Illinois. That's, again, an abortion destination state. We have a huge priority in covering the state of Illinois. So thank you, Jerome, for your witness and for supporting the work as well. To Lori in Lincoln, I want to say she's one of our sidewalk advocates, maybe one of our leaders too. I hope I have that right. But either way, Lori, thank you for your gift. We really appreciate you. I want to say Nebraska is a little bit in flux right now. They're still figuring some stuff out as far as their state law. So thanks for moving the work forward. We really appreciate you, Lori. Christine in Connecticut, appreciate you. That Northeast, we've got a lot of work to do in the Northeast. Thanks for supporting all of this work. Gail in California as well. So it just keeps coming and coming. Again, we're so grateful to all of you. So once again, we will have this triple match available until August 3rd. So just a few weeks to make it. This is the greatest opportunity in our 8-year history here at Sidewalk Advocates for Life. Again, these ministry partners wanted to see these new teams go up and then to be sustained over the long haul. Because in some of these states, we're going to have some long-term work to do. And in some of them, it may fall pretty quickly, but at the very least, in the pro-life states, or again, where abortion is greatly restricted, we need to be at these abortion referral sites. We need to continue to show up for women. So really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for all the sacrificial giving that took place tonight, all of the praying. Your prayers sustain us. They give us strength. They help us to continue this mission full force, full steam ahead, right? We really appreciate all of you. So thank you all again so much. Nate, any final thoughts as we close out tonight?
Yeah, just echoing exactly what you're saying. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Let us just continue to keep praying for one another in the great work and continue to commit ourselves to the action items that we even shared tonight, right? We're just so grateful that each of you could be with us tonight and continue to, work together, right? As we truly are able to be the hands and feet of Jesus throughout our great nation in resourcing women, children, and men in need. So Thanks again, everybody. We really appreciate you being with us tonight.
Thanks again, everyone. We really appreciate you, and onward to an abortion-free America, right? So,
right.
All
Have
right.
a great evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.